You may have situations where all the facts say it's not going to work out. Your child's never going to get back on course, and those people at work will always limit you. Can I encourage you, the same God that delivered the saints of old is going to turn things around in your life. You're going to have some of these just the opposite moments. I thought I'd be addicted, but now I'm free. I thought I was stuck, but God catapulted me ahead. I thought I'd always be lonely, but God sent someone better than I could imagine. It's going to be just the opposite of what it looked like. See, the scripture says the enemy is a liar and there is no truth in him. When he whispers his lies that you've reached your limits and this problem is too big, the key is to take just the opposite of what he's telling you. You'll never get well. You saw the report. Thank you. Now I know the truth. I will live and not die. God's restoring health back unto me. Well, you'll always struggle. Not have enough. That's just the family you come from. Thank you. Now I know abundance is coming. I will lend and not borrow. Well, your child's always going to be off course, get into trouble, cause you problems. Thank you. Now I know, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. See, the battle is taking place in our minds. The enemy cannot tell the truth, but if he can deceive you into believing his lies, then he can keep you from the great things God has in store. There was a young woman in the scripture named Esther. She was an orphan being raised by her uncle Mordecai. When the king of Persia was searching for a new queen, she was picked to be one of the candidates in this beauty pageant. Out of the thousands of girls, she was chosen as the next queen. Well, nobody knew that she was Jewish. Mordecai told her to keep that a secret. Everything was going great until a man named Haman got upset with Mordecai. Haman was the prime minister, second in command to the king. When he walked by, he expected everyone to bow down and show their respect, but Mordecai wouldn't do it. He only bowed to Jehovah. This made Haman so angry, he decided to do something about it. He found out that Mordecai was a Jew. And to get back at him, he thought, I'm not going to just get rid of you, I'm going to get rid of your whole nationality. He went to the king and said, hey, there's a group of people that are causing trouble. They won't obey your decrees. The best thing we could do is annihilate them, not let them live. Sounded reasonable to the king. He didn't want to be overthrown, so he agreed to Haman's request. He took off the ring on his finger and gave it to Haman, represented his authority. He said, do as you have said with these people. So Haman wrote an official decree that on March the 7th, 1 year from then, all the Jews would be killed. Their property would be given to whoever killed them. He sent the fastest messengers to deliver this decree throughout the land. When the Jewish people received it, there was great weeping and wailing. The scripture says many stayed in bed in sackcloth and ashes, so depressed. Well, someone told Esther that Mordecai was in distress, crying at the city gates. She had an assistant to see what was wrong. Mordecai sent back a copy of the decree and explained what Haman was up to and how she must go to the king and tell him what was happening and to plead for the life of her people. But you couldn't go to the king unless he called for you. She hadn't seen him in a month. She told Haman, gather all the Jews for 3 days, fast and pray, and I'll go see the king. She put her life on the line and went to see the king. The king was very gracious. He said, Esther, what do you want? I'll give you anything up to half of my kingdom. She didn't have the courage to tell him right then. She said, I would like for you and Haman to come to a banquet that I've prepared. The king agreed. Haman got the word, felt so honored. At the banquet, the king said, now Esther, tell me, what do you want? She still couldn't find the courage to do it yet. She said, King, if you're pleased with me, I want you to come to a banquet with Haman tomorrow night. Then I'll tell you what this is all about. Verse 9 says, what a happy man Haman was as he left that banquet. He went out of there on cloud 9, having dinner with royalty, going to do it again tomorrow night. He bragged to his friends about how honored he was, all the authority he had been given. Sometimes it looks like your enemies are being promoted. They're being honored when you know they're plotting evil. They're doing the wrong thing. Don't worry, their time is coming. God is your vindicator. You don't have to live upset and try to pay people back. He's going to take care of those who are plotting against you. They went to the banquet the next night. Haman sitting there so proud. The king said it again. Esther, what can I do for you? She said, Your Majesty, this is my request, that you would spare my life and the life of my people. The king was appalled. He said, Who would dare try to harm you? She pointed at Haman and said, He has written a decree to annihilate me and all my people. The scripture says Haman grew pale with fright, from honor to dishonor in 1 second. The king jumped up in such a rage, so upset, he ran out to the courtyard. Haman came over and fell on Esther and began to beg for his life. About that time, the king came back in and saw him all over Esther. He said, Are you even going to assault my wife right in front of my eyes? An assistant came over and said, Haman has set up some gallows outside to hang Mordecai on. The king said, Great, use those gallows to hang Haman. The psalmist said, The trap the enemy sets for you, they will fall in themselves. Chapter 8 says, That same day, the king gave the estate of Haman, the enemy of the Jews, to Esther. Then the king called up Mordecai. He took the signet ring, the one he removed from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. Said, From now on, you're going to be in charge. It looked like Esther and Mordecai would be wiped out, but it was just the opposite. Looked like Haman had the upper hand. All this power, the ring, people bowing down, but just the opposite happened. Now Mordecai has the ring. Now Esther owns his estate. You may have situations like them that seem like they could never resolve. People against you that have more authority and circumstances that seem bigger, the sickness, the addiction, but you don't know what God is up to. He has divine reversals, supernatural turnarounds where you suddenly go from the back to the front, from being overlooked to being in charge, from weeping to rejoicing, from wondering how it could work out to saying, Look what the Lord has done. Esther said in verse 5, King, there's one more request. Please send out a decree reversing Haman's order to destroy the Jews. The king said, Esther, you can write whatever you want. Mordecai has the ring to seal it with my authority. They wrote a decree saying that anyone that tried to harm God's people would be killed. Chapter 9 says, On March the 7th, the day the enemy of the Jews had planned to destroy them, just the opposite happened. No one was harmed. One translation says, the tables turned. But imagine what the enemy had whispered to them. There's a decree. Your days are numbered. It's official. The king sealed it. But what the enemy doesn't want you to know is he doesn't have the final say. He may plan your demise, and bring people against you, circumstances that look impossible, but what he means for harm, God knows how to turn to your advantage. God has these divine reversals where it turns out just the opposite of what it looks like. Don't be discouraged by the circumstances. You may have a Haman in your life, an obstacle that's bigger and stronger, the medical report, an addiction, the debt, the anxiety. Seems like it has the upper hand. You're at the mercy of what's against you. But God sees what you're going through. He knows who did you wrong, how you don't see a way, those lonely nights. Like with Esther, your time is coming. There will be a day where the tables will turn, divine reversals. Your health turns around. You can't explain it. It's the hand of God. Your business takes off. Or that dark cloud lifts off of you. Lies told you that you'd always be depressed, but it's just the opposite. You're full of joy. You've got your passion back. Relationship didn't work out. Someone walked away, and lies will tell you, just live with a broken heart. You'll never be happy again. Can I encourage you? It's going to be just the opposite. You will love again. You will laugh again. You will dream again. You're going to meet someone so amazing, you don't think about what you've lost. Or how about the lies that whisper, you've reached your limits, you've seen your best days, quit waiting for things to improve. No, the truth is, you haven't seen, heard, or imagined what's coming your way. There's uncommon favor, uncommon opportunity, uncommon influence that'll catapult you ahead. You're going to look back and say with Mordecai, it was just the opposite of what it looked like. Haman said we were doomed. The truth is he was doomed and we lived on. Haman said I was stuck, had no authority, but God turned the tables and gave me what Haman had, the authority, the king's ring, the influence. Are there situations that you don't see how they can work out? Your health, a relationship, your finances? Instead of believing those lies and letting all the negative play, try a different approach. Lord, I thank you that you have divine reversals coming my way, that you will do just the opposite of what it looks like. Father, turn this sickness into health. Turn this mourning into dancing. Turn this lack into abundance. Lord, turn my child from poor decisions to his purpose and destiny. Turn my family from strife and division to peace and harmony. Turn these ashes into beauty. Turn my pain into purpose. Get in agreement with God and you'll see some supernatural turnarounds. Not where he just brings you out and things resolve, but it's going to be just the opposite. It's far better, something that you never imagined.